as a woman of color in this country, we have to work 10 times hard to try to be. That's why so many of us is a lot more educated.
If I had to get on the phone, I don't care who I'm talking to, a partner of any kind of business, I just, before I make that phone call, and they have caught me sometimes before when I make the phone calls and they'll put you on hold, but I always stop, mute my phone, and I pray to God that I always get a godly person.
We done had so many mass shootings in schools in this country. But I guarantee you go to like a lot of the white communities, they don't have the securities probably checking the kids, searching through their book sacks, and they going through metal detectors every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Three Hearts, One Beat. I'm Lee,
And I'm Kim.
And I'm V.
and today, guys, first I want to start off by saying thank you guys for all that you do for subscribing to us and sticking with us through everything. We have been recording, but we've been having a lot of technical difficulties. That's why we haven't been uploading the past couple of weeks. So we want to thank you guys for sticking with us. So let's get it started. On today's episode, we're going to talk about being a woman of color in America and what does that feel like, the good, the bad. What does that feel like to you? What's your experience of being a woman of color in America today, or just in general?
Oh, in general.
So for me, I started off, honestly, coming up, it was like you always had different, it was always different obstacles, but I never recognized those obstacles until I got older and started growing more mentally and understanding this is wrong, this was right. Like coming up, we didn't talked about it on episodes ago of how it be in your own race. Oh, black is ugly. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
not
And you
not
as
black is ugly. They'll be
or
like you
dark
you too
skin, you
dark.
too dark. Dark is ugly or whatever. So that'll put you in a lot of insecurities. Or as a young woman, I suffer with the insecurities of my skin being too dark. But the older I got, I recognize, when Tupac said the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You know what I'm saying? So I took pride in that too. And it was like, but coming up, it's so many things and challenges. But I think I never really recognized how hard it was for me until I stepped into the workforce as a woman of color. To be honest with you, it's like going through school. I didn't pay attention to it because it was mostly, I was more scared for my brother, my cousins, because I seen more black men of color get more abused, you know what I'm saying, by the system than women at the time in my eyes of what I seen. As a teenager and in my early 20s. But when I stepped into the workforce, it's a lot of things you start experiencing. Like, I had my first job, not second job actually, my first job in my adulthood. It was, the owner came to me and she gave me a 25-cent raise. I was happy because, I came home and I told you, I was like, yo, she gave me a 25-cent raise. And mama was like, oh, that's good. But then turn around and you gave the two white workers. Now, one of them, she was a good worker. She deserved it. But the other one, no. But you gave both of them $1. But you gave me a quarter, like if, you know what I'm saying? Like if I don't work hard, or, you know what I'm saying? Some things people say, you just got to be grateful for that. You are grateful for what God bless you with. But then you start seeing
The racism.
the racism that goes on. And I think that was my first time experiencing something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like being a woman of color and recognizing that the system is truly against all of us, whether you was male or female.
All
It
female.
was against you.
You do notice a lot of it, especially like in the workforce. You'll see how they allow certain people to get away with certain things, and they won't allow you to get away with it.
Right.
But also, a lot of places I work, I seen a lot of women of color like stand up, including myself. Like you'll stand up for yourself and you'll stand up for others.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened, and it's also this effect where when you somewhere and you are a woman of color, like we love being who we are.
Right.
God created us this way,
Right.
and you will take up, you know, for each other. But then I think being a person of color and you take up for other people of color when you see like a black person, I'm gonna just say it like this: when you take up on the job force with another black person, but they don't take up for themselves, or they'll throw
Right.
you under the bus. But
Didn't work with those kinds
yeah,
that
so
well.
it's one of those things, and you'll be sitting there like, I have your back, but you don't have mine. And I'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
when it's like a black male, because I didn't have that happen. I didn't have a black woman or throw you under the bus. You feel what I'm saying? Because I guess what happens is they try to keep their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to put it, or they trying to move up, and they'll throw you under the bus. But I have also noticed the racism side of it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Where,
Yes.
like you spoke of, they'll let like one job we worked on, and it was a security job, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll come around like one guy was working there, and he basically say because he was the person who would ride around to make
Mm-hmm.
sure everybody was still up, and he had to quit because his words to me was they when I noticed the patterns when I sent in all the names, he said, because I put in all names because that's my job. He said, I started noticing the patterns that they will fire only the black employees. And all the white employees wouldn't get fired. In fact, they would get more thing, and they always sleeping on the job. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He said he was hearing like, oh, I already know why they doing it because they work another job. And he was like, our black people work other jobs too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you do being a black person in America is like it's so much you have to overcome.
So many
It's
obstacles.
so many obstacles you have to overcome. And then when you're a black woman in America, people look at it like you spoke on the incarceration of black men because they show it so full. But black women is
Mm-hmm.
heavily
But it
incarcerated as
wasn't,
well,
when
right?
your mind is blinded to it, you don't
And it's
see it.
easy to get looked over. Like I remember once, a cousin had told me, "Cause you don't understand what black men go through when the police stop," and I was like, "You don't understand what black women go through when police stop them. You know how many cases then came out that they didn't got raped
Right.
or worse." You feel
Right.
what I'm saying? And they can't speak out against it because the whole force is with them. And we understand that, but see, and I think that's the difference with a black woman because we have so much empathy and love for so many.
Mm-hmm.
To I could see your hurt and see what you go through and have your back. But when we tell you about what we go through and what we experience, you look at it as
It ain't
is
nothing.
less than,
Right.
is not. So yes, being a black woman in America is a lot. You know what I'm saying? If you
Mm-hmm.
speak up for yourself, you're the angry black woman.
Yeah,
Right.
yes,
You
that's
know
the
what I'm
main
saying?
phrase
Like
that.
Right.
you speak up
Right.
and you could be facts, but then if you we seen it with Kamala Harris. If you around black people and you speak one way and then you get around another group of people and you speak another way, why is she code switching? When everybody, if you have a mama that didn't pay bills
Hey,
in the
if
past,
you pay bills right now,
you didn't switch codes. Cause I guarantee you back in the day, I bet you light bill, water bill, whatever. Your mama trying to get the extension on the phone. She on the phone. Like, yes, this is such and such. Yes, you could help.
right?
But then when you talking to a regular person, you like, girl, cause you know you. So, that's code switching.
You want to hear the funny thing about it though? When you brought that to my attention years ago,
Hmm.
man, I talked to the bill people just like I
The
talked to the
same
way.
way,
I was like, I
right?
do that. Because I started recognizing it in myself, and I'm
It's
like,
something you got to break.
No,
I'm
what
not
you
doing it no
I
more.
used to do it a lot, but what I started doing was I stopped doing that, and I started doing if I had to get on the phone, I don't care who I'm talking to, a partner of any kind of business. I just before I make that phone call. And they have caught me sometimes before when I make the phone calls and they'll put you on hold, but I always stop, mute my phone, and I pray to God that I always get a godly person on the other end of
And
this
it
phone
works.
so I can
It
talk to who the
does.
way I normally talk to people. I can talk to them because switching to almost sound, very either how would you say it, proper or, a
Not
white
proper,
Not
but
proper.
trained.
train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trained
that's
to,
the
So
word.
yeah.
yeah. So but all of that, I stopped doing it like that. I just start praying, ask God to send me a godly person, and believe when I tell you, you ask, He will give it to
Sure
you.
do every
And every
time.
time I pray
Amen.
for a godly person on the other side. I'm not caring if you white or if you black, or what's your race. I'm not worrying about that. If you love the Lord, that's the people I pray for to answer my phone call, because that's the people who's God sent to understand my situation.
And honestly, if you on the phone with somebody and you feel like they not being, like they being ignorant, because I don't care. People, that's another thing. They associated ignorant with black people back in the day.
And I
They,
didn't
and they and
heard
they'll be
other
like,
races,
and you got ignorant
all
everywhere.
races, right?
But what I was about to say was, if you get on the phone with someone and they sound like they having a bad day and they don't want to be bothered, click, wait
True.
5-10 minutes, call back.
Right.
You don't have to take it. But back to what we were saying, like the code switching, it was basically taught almost like with black women with straightening your hair to get a job. If you go in there back in the day and you had, and then it also was installed, like, see, like now, how so many, and I love it, so many of us went natural hair, whether it's locks, whether it's bush or whatever. They had put a number on us so bad to where relaxers, everybody was wearing straight hair. Like, that's really not our hair, being straight and like that.
With all them
But
chemicals in it.
right. So we had to endure a lot of that in the past. And all of it is trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, our natural hair wasn't good enough in this country.
Right.
Even though that's the hair God
Blessed
blessed
us
us
with.
with.
Right.
Even though they say they love Jesus, but his hair was made of wool. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? So, but that's a whole nother story. They truly don't love Jesus, but that's another story. You know what I'm saying? We get into that one on the. I know we
Yeah.
said we wasn't gonna say that, but because
But that's the truth,
your
though.
mind clicked, because there's a lot
Now,
I can say on that topic, but I'm gonna rewind it back.
being of color, I have watched coming up as a little girl. I used to watch, and I didn't know I was. Don't take me wrong. I was being educated about all of that stuff, the slavery and racism and all this type of stuff. But I always looked at where I came from, and I came from a grandmother that and a grandfather that raised 12 strong kids. And I come from a strong mother and stuff. So I try to, my mama taught us a lot. She taught us so much. And a lot of things I still remember sometimes what she taught us and stuff. I tried to always teach it to y'all, because the color of your skin should never have nothing to do with who you are on the inside.
Right.
And
That's
just
true.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
people gonna judge people when they see them, no matter what. But let me tell you
Facts.
something. What and I'm not saying I'm not a judge, because it may not even be that. But it's just that. See, for instance, I go in Walmart and I'm walking up and down the aisles and stuff, and somebody come across me, I can pretty much just look at you and know. And I guarantee you, before I get out the store, I can hear you say something or do something, and I knew. It's just that sense that I guess God gave me, but I don't judge people
Wait, the
because,
sense of what? If they was watching you or
or
something?
if anything, whether they following you up and down the aisles, or if you,
Mhm.
you
You
know what
being
I'm
watched.
saying,
You
yeah,
being watched
and
because
stuff,
you.
because of the color of your skin.
Right.
I pay attention to all that stuff. If all of that come about, all it is about how you was raised and stuff. What I don't like to see or hear is our own black men tearing down black women. I don't know why it's being done sometimes, and I just don't understand it. Whether they wasn't raised with a person that because if you came from somebody that was black, why you are disrespecting another person that's a black or female of black of that color and stuff. So that's part of the stuff I don't understand. But I know I came from a strong black woman. She came from a strong black woman and stuff. And I do see and I hear. I mean, I always say something and stuff, but I see you.
It be men of color doing wrong to women of color, but you also have the woman of color
Oh
also
my God.
putting a woman of color down. It's like nobody. Don't get me wrong. I feel like
Nobody
nobody
should
should
put
ever put anyone
anybody
down.
down.
But when it's I started learning that phrase, all skin folk ain't kin folk, when you start experiencing certain things
Right.
from your own
They'll
people,
stab you in the back.
they will stab you in the back. And when I say I didn't witness so much of it, I didn't witness so much of it on jobs. Just being in the public, like going in grocery stores, like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, you'll go into a store and they'll be checking not why you gotta check the bags. If it's in the bag, why you checking the bags too? I could see checking stuff outside the bag because you don't know. That's understandable. But when you start going inside of people bags, there is no excuse for that. And I
Right.
have seen women of color do that to other women of color and men of color. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like an example, when I got my computer, the first one. What it was like 2013 or something. I got that computer, but I went to Best Buy. I remember I walked in there because I told you I was going to get the computer, and I went in there and I walked to the back. When I walked to the back, they had a black guy that was working, but he was helping someone, you know, in that area by the computers. So I wasn't, because at that point when I walked up, I was like, okay, I'm looking, but they had another white guy back there. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay, this fellow probably next. So, I was expecting him to ask him. So he did. He asked him, he was like, can I help you, sir? You know what I'm saying? Just like that. And I was like, at that point, I'm still looking. So, and he was there before me. So I'm like, okay, it is, because he was here. But then it was like another white guy walked up, right? So at that point, I'm just waiting for him to finish. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I don't want to be rude. I ain't see nobody else back there. I was waiting for him to finish so I could get the computer because I didn't pick out which, laptop I wanted. And as I'm standing there waiting, the other white guy is standing like right past me. Now this is a black guy, the worker. He looked straight past me and he was like, "Sir, can I help you?" And right then and there, because I've been in sales and I didn't see how people move. Right then and there, I already knew what it was. You feel what I'm saying? Because when he asked the first white guy, "Sir, can I help you?" I was already standing there. This guy had already walked up after he was talking to this guy. But you looked straight past me and asked the other white guy, "Can I help you?" I wasn't mad or angry. I already knew what it was. You know what I did? I walked to the front. I went to, how the Best Buy was set up back in the day by us. You walk to the front to check out. I went up there and they had a black queen right there. I was like, "Say love, I'm trying to get a computer from the back." And she was like, "Such and such back there. He can help you." I say, "No offense, but he don't want to help me. He want to help the white guys that's back there." I told her just like that. I was just straight up. And she was like, "Shoot, which one you want, sweetheart?" And I told her. She went back there, got the computer. And when she came back to me, because I paid for it cash out, when she came back to me, he came up and he was like, "Oh, why you didn't say you was getting a computer?" Because and she was like, "Shoot, I'm glad. Shoot, now I get a commission." Because, they get commission off of what they sold.
Right.
But it wasn't for him. It was for her to get that commission. It's just one of those situations when you know what it is. That's when you was talking about even your own will play you. You
Oh
feel what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah. You have to recognize when
Right.
it's like that. Like I want to say one of my also things that I witnessed was years later when Stacey Abrams ran the first time. It was like, dang, son. Because, I felt like she had the momentum. I
Right.
felt just to see that black queen go through what she went through in that election,
Mm-hmm.
that was hurtful. So the second time she went through it, so now don't get me wrong, Kamala's hurt it. That really hurt it.
But it
But
wasn't like
it
Stacy.
wasn't it no, it wasn't like Stacy's, but it was more like Stacy too kind of already prepared me a little bit
Mm-hmm.
for what was about to happen to Kamala.
Stacy hurt was something different
It was
It was
because
because
different because
we
she
was a
ran a
part
whole
of all.
campaign, and Kamala Harris got handed that stuff at the end of that campaign season and stuff. And she, if Kamala Harris had
They
any
still
more
would have
months,
cheated though.
yeah, they probably still would have. But I had heard something one day. I was sitting down at lunch, and Stacey, I want to say it was her second time running, and I heard one of my coworkers. She was white. One of my coworkers said, "I can't vote for her because she too loud." Why they always, when we speak our education to them, we loud.
mm-hmm.
Stacey Abram is a well, smart, educated woman, and she's not loud. They just don't. They always.
They fear black women, so they
So
rather
yeah,
they come down with belittling certain things like, oh, they too loud, they too ghetto, they too
to
this, they
this
too.
that.
Whole while is
It's just
that
they
we
too
more
educated.
educated,
And the
but
crazy
They
before
too
they but
educated.
before they say before whoever that coworker would say she too educated, no, they go belittle she too loud
She too loud.
because if you give her too educated, that's like looking at you like, so you not educated. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? But I was about to say with the Stacy, I think the Stacy one hurt me. Even though Kamala, I know they cheated her, but the Stacy one hurt me because we was a part of the situation where we went to this poll. No, y'all not here. Then we went to that poll. No,
They
y'all
switched
not
our
here.
stuff.
So we went to what it was the third poll or the
It
fourth
was the
poll,
third or fourth
something like
poll we
that.
went to, and they was like, "Yeah, this is where y'all supposed to be at." And we was in a long line, but guess what? We stood
Stood
in
in
that
that
line
line.
and we voted.
And I think that was the part that had hurt me with the Stacy one
And how many
because
people they did
went through
that
that
to?
and just gave up that day. Was like, I'm not dealing with this. So that one I think was Stacy because you seen it like firsthand, and that was the first time I
Experienced
experienced
that,
that.
yeah.
So you going from poll to poll because they telling you this not yours, and you didn't vote it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't vote it here, and they telling you this is not your poll. You got to go to this poll. Then we get to that poll. No, y'all can't vote here. This after you stand in lines to get to the front for them to tell you this not your poll.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So
And it was a blessing that we went early in the day
right to
to
do that.
before the polls was even close to shutting down.
Because they had so many people who couldn't make it because they was going from poll to poll, and by the time they got there,
Right.
it was like you can't vote. You know,
And
so.
that was the crazy part because it's like,
I think that's the last time I voted at my poll. No, I did just recently when voted at my poll.
but
my
that's a
actual
that's
poll.
the
Most time I
different
do
one from
early.
the last time we voted because we voted by the school. This time we voted
Right,
by
they
the,
changed it again.
Senior citizen
the senior
center.
citizen
They
center.
changed
So,
it again.
so
That's
they
why
been-
we do early voting so we could bypass all that.
You gotta. I would tell anybody recommend early voting if you know who you vote for. Early vote. You know what I'm saying? Because early voting, you can vote anywhere in your probably in your district,
in your
in
area,
your district, in your
Yeah.
county. You can
Whether
probably
you're in a
vote.
county or parish in any state. Out here in Georgia, we have counties. As long as you are in Clayton County,
DeKalb
any one
County.
of them counties, you got to stay in your county, and you can vote anywhere. There's an early voting poll.
But yeah, just being a woman of color and witnessing, and then just learning the history of the women of color of your past and the things they experienced, the things they went through, and then you may look at it. I always look at situations like my situation not as bad as theirs, but then you have other situations, people whose situations not as bad as mine. So basically, my thing is just going through life and experiencing certain things and just not just experiencing in my adulthood. You think back to your childhood when you went through stuff, you was like, that was discrimination. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We didn't go put out a I didn't go put out a corner stores because it was too many of us
Mm-hmm.
that walked through their stores. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
y'all gotta go. Like, I didn't went through that
Shouldn't
as a
even shop
kid.
there no more.
I never went back. It's just, but you didn't recognize it because when you 11, 12, you ain't paying attention. You with all your friends.
You
But
know.
they felt, I guess, at that point, they couldn't keep an eye on all of us. Cause we
Mm-hmm.
used to be deep, but we kids. We not everybody going in there with their little dollar 50 cent,
Mm-hmm.
getting chips and candy and stuff back in the day. But it was like we didn't got kicked out of stores because it was like it's too many of y'all. Y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Why?
you
That,
never know until you go when you get, because at the time I'm going through it, I'm like, dang, we like, dang, so we ain't even do nothing. But you ain't recognizing it as a kid what it's about.
And another thing they do in our communities, we done had so many mass shootings in schools in this country. But I guarantee you go to like a lot of the white communities, they don't have the securities probably checking the kids, searching through their book sacks, and they going through metal detectors every day. And but in the black community, you don't even have a shooting in the school. It's metal detectors. You got to get searched, and they looking through all your book
Uh-huh.
sack. I remember being in high school. They used to bring the dogs in there and all that type of
Man,
stuff, and
that's
you sitting there
crazy.
like, but that was a lot of people don't understand what black people understand, and that's why we so resilient as people because
Hmm.
we endure so much and we go through so much. So when people look at us and be like, you strong," it's not that we have breaking points too,
We
but
human.
right, we human beings, but we have learned how to cope and keep moving
Hmm.
because we as black people cannot sit here and just be like, you know, just be defeated. Because guess what?
and just keep taking and taking the abuse.
We have more kids behind us that go have to keep picking up the torch, and it's gonna keep going on and keep going on. So if we just become defeated, then what's gonna happen to them? So we
Right.
have to keep
It's
going.
a fight you gonna have to always do. Is like you can't stop fighting. The fight must continue until the victory is won. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to keep fighting and keep fighting. King fought for us. Rosa Parks fought for us. Harriet Tubman fought for us. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like those people. It's so many. I could keep
Right, the
going.
Black
Barack,
Panther Party was fighting for us.
right?
So
Huey. They fought for us. So it was like for us to be where we are today. So who are we to say that we further along than we was back then? But today we need to be pushing it where we could be further along 20, 30, 40 years from now to say, okay, let's keep fighting for our future. And I'm not, God willing, hopefully I am, but 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, I may not still be here. But when
hmm.
I have descendants, I need my descendants to be living in a way better than what I have. It
Right.
shouldn't be living as a woman of color in this country. Living as a woman of color, you have to work 10 times as hard as the white woman, as the white man, as the black man. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. You have to work 10 times hard because this is no knock on no race when we talk about this type of stuff, because I don't have nothing against no race, to be honest with you. I have a thing against ignorancy. People who have a very ignorant mindset and don't, because I've worked with both sides being very ignorant. You know what I mean? But as a woman of color in this country, we have to work 10 times hard to try to be. That's why so many of us is a lot more educated, like the Stacey Abrams and the Kamala Harrises. They
The
had to.
Michelle Obamas and all of that. Yep, you got to.
Kamala lost, one, because they cheated her, but two, it was more, she's an African woman, she's a woman of color in this country, and you gave her 107 days, and she did what she did. You know what I'm saying? She had y'all scared.
Yeah, I had to cheat.
Y'all had to cheat her. She had y'all scared with 107 days of running a campaign. So it's like, but she had to work 10 times harder than her white counterparts.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole fear of, and just speaking on this country here, the whole fear of a woman, a woman becoming president. You hear all the time, women can't lead us. They can't lead this country. Men been doing it.
Since this country was
Men been the
stolen.
presidents since they stole the country and decided that this country needed one. They've been the president, and all they did was hurt, rob, steal, rape, kill. The reason why they scared that a woman being a leader,
Whether white
because
or
if it
black,
switch
right?
around and this country become peaceful and things shape up, they know another man, another white man would never get a chance. Because who go from being peaceful to going back to all the chaos
Right.
that they cause? So that's the whole fear of
A
women.
woman, period, being president.
Because and
Right. That's the truth.
another thing, that's a lot of people who didn't trust their mamas. I mean, that's just my point. Because my mama was a huge backbone in my house, and she showed that women
Could
do a
lead.
lot and
Right.
could
We could
lead
lead. Right.
or could be partners. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
for you said a woman can't lead, that mean your mama wasn't a leader. You feel what I'm saying? Or your
Right.
mama you didn't trust your mama at all. That's how I look at it. And everybody have their own assumptions. But that's when I say it, like, even some of the people that I know personally that'll say they couldn't trust Kamala. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying personally, people that I know, and I know their moms, I know their origin of,
Yeah, where did it come from?
I see that their moms wasn't really truly good moms. But that's not for me to say. I already, you know how you look at people or you know people and you could kind of tell why they talk the way they talk, or they think the way they think, or they act the way they act. And I just be sitting there like, I already know why you against. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm
That's
saying?
true. Like one, and then it's like people don't like what they can't be.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't see or what, or they'll say, "Oh, you think you smarter
Cause
than."
some of them name it like Barack.
It was like, "Oh, you think you smarter than everybody." Or you.
Right.
It's not that I think. That's what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that because I didn't say that.
Right.
You say that. You feel like I'm smarter than you.
True.
That don't make me smarter than you, but you think I'm smarter than you,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how you feel. That's your own insecurities inside. I heard when people say, "Oh, women can't lead this country."
Hmm.
No, no, don't say that because what was the one? I heard a woman say when Kamala was running, literally come out her mouth, "Women can't lead this country. They belong in the kitchen."
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that and I looked at her, I said, "Oh, you don't have no strength and backbone at all as a woman. You the
Mm-hmm.
type of woman that would sit back and watch everybody else, all the other strong women, whether if you a woman of color, a white woman, Latino woman, whatever you, woman of color, or all women that is strong, because you have all races that have strong women out there. Y'all, that's the type of woman that will watch us fight and
And re-
sit back and reap the benefits off of
mm-hmm.
our fight, off of our backs, because they
Uh,
ain't getting out there fighting because you feel like women belong in the kitchen. That let me know right there, you don't stand up for yourself.
mm-hmm.
You let men run your life. You let a man tell you what you can and cannot do. And then the men who's out there and feel like a woman need to stay in a woman's place. What is a woman's place? I need somebody to break that one down to me. Because what is a woman's place? Because a man need to stay in a man's place. Because if you don't know what you talk about, if you never walked in a woman's shoes, you never walked in a woman's body, you never been in a woman's skin, you can't tell a woman to stay in a woman's place.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what that woman have witnessed, have seen, have experienced, have been through. You have not been there. Just like I can't tell you how to be a black man, a white man, a Latino man. You can't tell me how to be a black woman. You can't tell a white woman how to be a white woman, and you can't tell a Latino or Asian woman how to be a woman because you never been in our shoes. You never been where we been. Women get have to go to work, get sexually harassed, and still go to work, put a smile on their face like nothing ain't going on. And men are stand back there, and I ain't gonna say men, little boys that you work with will stand there, watch it go on, and say nothing, do nothing. You have some. The men will stand up. The little boys will stand there and sit there and watch. And that's how you could tell the difference between a
Between the
man
man
and a woman.
and the
I mean
boy,
a
man
boy.
and the boy.
And then that's how you could separate a woman from a little girl. Just because your body grown, don't mean your mind is. You could be
Cause what they say,
40 years old in age,
thank you.
but
Age ain't nothing but a number.
your mind could be 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no, that standing in a woman's place and doing what a woman's supposed to do. What is a woman supposed to do? Because I feel like this, and for the men, if you this is how I feel. If you go to work and your wife go to work and y'all have kids, ain't no I'm the head of the household and she got to do what I say do. Because if she have to get up and go to work just like you and y'all splitting bills down the middle, guess what else? We cooking down the middle, kids down the middle, everything
The
down the
cleaning,
middle. Make
everything.
sure we sharing everything, not just I go to work, you go to work, and then you come home, kick your feet up, and you expect dinner to
And the
be on the
woman gotta
table.
cook and clean and
Take
take care
care
of
of
all
the
the
kids,
kids, help
fold,
with
wash and fold the
homework.
clothes. I gotta take them to. I gotta be at PTA meetings and who. So guess what? No. If you go be a head of a household, make sure you a real man and be a head of a household. But this is not the knock on the men. I'm sorry. Maybe I went too far, a little too deep, but I'm just being honest and real. Like, but when that woman said what she said, I was like, yo, she don't have no backbone. Cause any woman that feel like that, sis, you need to stand up for yourself. I'm just gonna be real with you.
But that happened time and time again though. Like when back in the day when you had leaders fighting for progress, and I mean like way back, like I want to say the first ones I know of was probably like the late 1800s. You will always have people who don't want help. You know what I'm saying?
But go on, reap
But
the
as
benefits.
soon as everybody reaped the benefits from what they was fighting for, and so many people lost their lives for, their hands wide open. Just like with everything going on today in the world, you have people because I don't care. That don't got nothing to do with me. That don't got nothing to do with me. But when the fight happened, you go be wanting to reap all the benefits.
Right.
So you go when you get through life and you realize you go always have the fighters. You go always have the bullies. You will always have the bullies. You will always have the group.
AKA cowards.
You will always have the group of bullies. You will always have them group of people who they scared of the bullies, so they go do what the bullies say.
They gonna side with the
they
bullies.
kind of cringe them just a little bit because they don't 100%. They don't 100% agree with the bullies, but they don't want the bullies to do to them what they see is getting done to other people. So they basically go with them. Then you just have the followers who's just they mind is just gone, so they believe everything them people saying. Then you have that group that fight against that group. You feel what I'm saying? Then you have the group that watch the group that's fighting against that group, sitting back saying, "Oh, that don't got nothing to do with me." But then when things get bad and they ready to fight, I'm talking about the group that's getting ready to fight. They sitting back with their legs crossed and their arms crossed because they don't want to have nothing to do with it. But when that group win and everything starts switching and you start reaping benefits, oh, they beating you. You the one that got wounded and everything. They beating you to get all the benefits that come. And that's just how the world goes, son.
And then you also have the ones that sit back and do nothing.
Yeah, that's the
But
ones
no. Do nothing. But complain about everything. Like, why are you complaining? You ain't doing nothing. You ain't go vote. What you complaining for? Once you don't go vote, you have no right to say nothing. Sit back, shut up, and be quiet.
And I don't mean no harm when I say this. I don't like people if my people and people folk went out there and fought, so I have a right to go to a poll and vote. There are two people running. That third party person on there will never, don't ask, ever get my vote. Because I kick my ancestors in their face from fighting for me and go put my vote on a third party who I know for a fact can't win. I'm gonna choose one of them other two, but that third party will not me.
I
Never get
have
my vote.
I have ancestors, and I ain't gonna
Might as
just
well
say
throw your vote in the trash because that's all you did with it was throw it in the trash.
I have a grandmother. I had two grandmothers, but one passed away when I was real little, so I didn't get a chance to get that close to her. But I still respect, you know what I'm saying, her history as well. The stuff both of my grandmothers had to endure. I have a great uncle, 82 years old. Well, not great uncle, a uncle. Ain't no great. A uncle that's 82 years old and told us the stories of what he had to go through in that time. You think I'm about to disrespect them and say my vote don't count? That's the dumbest thing
Because at one
I've
And I
ever
would
time,
never
heard
throw
in
my
my
vote away on
life.
the
because at
third
one
party
time they
either.
couldn't even vote.
That part. Or they had to pay to vote. It's free now.
Well, probably not the most, but
But thank thank you ladies for we having this conversation. So before we go, I want you guys to make sure y'all hit that like, that share, that subscribe, hit that notification bell so y'all could keep up with all of our most recent content. We want to say thank you for continuously blessing us and watching us and continuously keep promoting us. Make sure you hit that share button as well. So we want to say thank y'all. We love y'all and see y'all on the next episode. Peace.